Okay, here we have the latest sport action camera from Boblov. Well, there we have it out of the packaging, and it comes a very nice smart case, sort of a reinforced backed little handle. Yeah, impressed. No box as such. Now just open her up, and oh, nice manual. Covers the usual languages. Looks to be reasonably laid out. Pictures and good explanations, so I'll have to read that later. The camera itself still got its obviously protective plastic on, so probably going to look like a scratch, but it's not. Yeah, sort of a GoPro type camera. There's your remote. Oops, looks like could be wrist mounted, I suppose. Got a little strap with it. There's a remote there. Let's try it. Tell you what I'll do. I'll get all the gear out and take the black box away. Then you won't be looking onto a black background. Right. Well, I've just taken my time and unpacked everything from their packaging, and I have to say, very impressed with the accessories. Didn't really expect to get all these, but there we are. It looks like there's enough there to attach the camera to every conceivable item. Handlebars, motorbike. There's a couple of adhesive pads there for your helmet or mounting on dash. There's your remote. I think the strap for it was where are we, over here? So yeah, all good. And here's the camera itself out of the waterproof housing. Quite a neat little thing. Quite impressed. Looks like micro SD card goes in there. There's your viewing screen. Looks like your Wi-Fi button. So, contents wise, a big thumbs up. Plenty of accessories. So, I'm going to have a little read of the manual, and I'll get back to you on the specifications. Right, I'm going to give you a quick run through of the actual camera itself. Quite a nice piece of kit. Feels well made. And you've got your connections there. You've got micro SD slot just there, and micro USB port there, and that's your HDMI. That's your battery location. Reasonably easy to get out. Just pull a little door. There's a little flap there. You can just pull up, and there comes your battery. So you've got a spare battery as well. So you know, if you did lose charge in the middle of something, then you've got a spare one. That just pops back in there. There you go, that's that. That's your Wi-Fi button. And that's your shutter select button now. Microphone, there's those 3 little holes there as your microphone. And obviously that's your power and mode button right at the front there. Brief specification. It's 4K at 25 frames per second video, which is quite cool. You've got your dual display. You've got a small 0.95 display there, which will show you settings and your modes. On the back you've got your 2-inch display at the back there to excuse the fingerprints. A little bit of a fingerprint magnet. There we go. Yeah, as I say, the main screen's a 2-inch Retina HD display at 330 ppi, and there's a high pixel density of 4.3. So the front screen itself is a 0.95 inch OLED monochrome screen, and that'll display in real time the menu settings. It says it has a strong CPU, so it should be able to handle everything fine, and it says it's got a 3650 sensor. Make of that what you will. The battery is removable. The battery actually is 1050 milliamps and will last approximately 90 minutes recording and 8 hours in standby. And obviously, as I said, there's 2 batteries included, so you got a backup. There's a Wi-Fi connection. You've got a button there for your Wi-Fi, and allow you to view your recorded footage on the app. They've got an app called Easy iCam. It's available for iPhone and Android. So that should, according to the instructions, you should be able to see what you're recording via the app, which is cool. The details on the Wi-Fi module is BCM 4334OS dual band chip. If that makes any sense to you. I'm afraid I'm not not that technically minded. So it makes a fast video transfer, speeds up to 30 megabits per second. So you should be able to view all your footage and your stills from the app. And also there's features you can do via the app. You can do time lapse, flowers bloom, ice melting, sun rising, and generate a shooting video automatically. But we'll find that out further down the line when I get to actually use it. You can also share your video and photos to your friends via social media. As I say, micro SD card. It's compatible up to 35 gigabytes. Minimum class 10 you need. So you need a fairly fast card. The waterproof shell, which is of this here thing here. I'll just zoom out of it. Right, this here shell is good for 30 meters apparently. So all good for a bit of underwater footage. But the proviso is that you do not press the key of the waterproof case while the camera is underwater. So I guess if you're going to press a button, there's a risk of water ingress. So you have been told, do not press the button. You can also use it as dash cam. There's several mountings which will enable you to mount it to use as a dash cam. And just to run down what's in the case, obviously the camera, you've got the waterproof case, you've got handlebar mounts and 6 other mounts, 2 clip mounts, 2 helmet mounts, your 2 batteries, lens cloth, various velcro straps, a USB cable and the remote control. So that's basically specifications. I think I'm going to have a little play now, so I'll be back after I had a play. Right, just having a quick play before fire it up. I was just looking at the mountings and various ways I could mount this, and because I use my cams for metal detecting, and I've been using a Mobius 2 action camera to film my metal detecting, and I've mounted it under the peak of a cap. I thought, well, this won't go under the peak. I'll mount it on top. So I found a mounting which I think will do the job. I've got the male equivalent of this thread, so I can screw it on top of my hat. But when I tried to put this in, it seems to slip in okay, and it goes right in and flush. But I don't know whether you can see it. It doesn't hook over the edge of the camera. Tried giving it a firm push in, but it will not clip over. There's a gap. You can just about see it there. So I think when I'm going to use this out in the field, I will have to probably file just a little bit away from that clip so I can snap it on. That's the first thing I've noticed, which I wouldn't be happy about going out with it mounted on the hat with a clip like that. So I think the first thing I'd have to do is just, I don't know, get a file and just file a little bit away so I've got enough to clip over. But anyway, first thing I've sort of picked up on, so I'm going to have a play and come back to you with what I found. Right, well, you may or may not know, depending if you've subscribed to my channel, that I have up until now been using the Mobius 2 action cam, which has been a nice cam. Limited connection, plus you can't see actually what you're filming, so bit of a disadvantage. But having said that, it's produced some good footage. So hopefully the Boblov X6 action cam should be the next step, because you can view what you're filming from the 2-inch screen at the back. You get information on the 0.95 screen at the front. It says monochrome, but it actually is colour. It sees the green battery level, and there's yellow icons for what mode you're in and what you're watching. Or the connection's a bit better. When you connect this to a USB lead to your computer, it'll come up with connecting. You think, what connecting to what? But perhaps that should say connected, because all the buttons are disabled, and basically what you're doing by plugging it in is just charging, and then you'll be able to access the files via your PC. So yeah, this is good. I like the fact that you can have a preview on your mobile phone. This is great, really, and Wi-Fi is good. So all in all, not a bad little camera. As I said, I use this on under the brim of my cap I use for metal detecting. Obviously I can't do that with this one because you'll probably see where you're going, but I've had a little fiddle with different mounts. This is my rather old cap, and normally I'd have the Mobius under there, which doesn't really get in your way, and does the job. But I found that I couldn't just mount this on the same fitting there. I've had to use one of the other mounts, which gives you an advantage that you can actually make the camera look down a bit more, whereas that was the one problem with this. You had to you know, consciously move your head towards the thing you want to film, which hopefully this will alleviate. So yeah, and I've just filed a little bit off this edge, so now when I fit her in, click, there you go, and that goes over and holds the front of the camera in. Don't want that falling out, do you? So that's all sorted now. Okay, shouldn't have to file it, but you know, maybe just a one-off. Maybe the other ones would be okay to use straight out of the box, but you know, it's not a difficult remedy. Turning on, well, let's show you what happens. Let's get a few things out of the way. So to turn on, just push and hold, and you'll get Boblov up the back, and then you're immediately into a preview screen. So at the front you've got battery charge, mode, which will be we're in film, and then what film quality you got. I've got 1080p at 60 frames a second, and that'll actually count down what you've recorded. So that's that. So to go to pictures, you just hit the mode switch and you'll go into camera mode. That's 12 megapixels. Mode again, and you're into continuous or burst. They call it burst photo mode, which take a series of stills depending on how you set it up in the settings. Another press and you're into time lapse. You can set that up to take a picture every 60 seconds, 30 seconds, and that will give you a time lapse playback. And then another press, and then you're into the preview or the viewing. You can watch your videos on the screen. You can play your photographs back, and then you go into settings. To select, you got the instinctively want to press the screen, but it's not touch screen. You have to confirm your selection by pressing the shutter at the top. So you're in settings, and you've got video resolution. You can go into 1080p 60 frames, 1080p 30 frames, yeah, 4K 25 frames a second, and then you go down and down. You know, 720 is the last one, I think. Video looping, timestamp if you require. You can set your exposure. So that's your burst photos, time lapse, continuous lapse. That's right. So par frequency, not quite sure. I think you can just go 50 and 60 hertz. Change language, set your time and date up. The sound indicator basically is the sound it makes when you turn it on, or the shutter. That just makes a little beep, or start up, and the volume. But to be quite honest with the speakers, those three holes there, and it's quite feeble. You would never probably hear it inside a waterproof case. You can just scroll down, and on and off. So you can invert it if you wear it under your hat or under something, and so you can change the screen around. You've got screensaver mode, power saver mode, format your card, reset all factory defaults, and that tells you what version. Currently we're on ICAM X6, and the actual version, if you look at the date, is the 13th of the 7th 2017. That's the current one. So basically that's a quick whip through of your settings, but the manual's okay up to a point. Yeah, it tells you the basics, but to be quite honest with you, you have to sort of, it's fairly intuitive, you know. You've only got 3 buttons to push, so it comes second nature after a while. So that's basically the setup. It's quite easy, fairly foolproof. You just have to have a play, really, and you'll become familiar. I've had a little go in the garden. The pictures are quite impressive, but I shall take some sample videos and stills and include them in the review. Just really want to show you the app and the Wi-Fi preview function. Basically turn your camera on. There's a Wi-Fi button here. You press that. You may or may not see it, but it will try and scroll up on the little Wi-Fi screen. Not letting me see it. Search. It's in search mode. So then on your phone, after you downloaded EasyCam or Easy iCam, turn it on. There's a search or a scan button there. It will scan, come up with iCam X6. Hit that, it will connect. And then you're connected. There's a solid Wi-Fi signal there now. So they are now connected. That's fairly straightforward. To be quite honest with you, the application's a little bit laggy. Now you're looking back at me lights. Now if I get hold of the camera, you actually can preview what you're watching. So I can just look around my chicken, which is handy. You can get the general idea what you're looking at. As I say, the app is a little bit laggy at times, and you won't, which is disappointing, be able to use 4K. For some reason, if you're using this to view and record, you won't be able to use 4K. If you set it up at 4K, as soon as you connect, it'll go back to 1080p 60 frames. Although the app says it should do 4K, it won't. And I think if you read the manual, it will say in there, when you're using the actual application, you won't be able to use 4K. So not too much of a problem, I suppose. If you've sorted the angle of the camera up, you can enable 4K on the camera, and then don't use the app, basically. What you have got is a little wrist on and off button. This is the remote controller, which I find very handy. You can turn your Boblov off. It doesn't turn it on, but you know, you can turn it off with this. And obviously that's the stills, and that's the on off for the videos, which is quite cool. Looks like it's once it's on, it just sits there on standby. So unlike the Mobius, you had like a minute or two, and then it was shut down. Then you had to turn it on and then press record, and away you go. With this, it seems that it's on all the while. And if you want a picture and your videos, there you go. So all in all, I think we're going to get on. Yeah, as I say, this is handy, but it's not the deal breaker. Hopefully it'll disconnect. It's a little bit flaky, but at the end of the day, it's an added bonus. So it's trying to search at the moment because I've turned that off. So if I just hit the button, and Wi-Fi is off now. So as I mentioned before, the specs said this is a monochrome 0.95 screen, which is clearly not. You've got yellow for video mode, orange for the resolution, and you've got your Wi-Fi, which is blue, and your green for battery level. So in theory, if I press this and hold it, I should turn the actual thing off. There you go. So you can't, obviously won't turn it on. So you can only turn it off. So hold for a second or two, you get your Boblov screen come up, and then you're into the preview. Defaults to video, and then if you want to record, you just press and away you go, and you're in record mode. And it tells you how much time you got to record left, how much or how long the actual clip is. As I said, I'm using a 64 gig card, which in theory is not correct. Just and off she goes. Same with photographs. You can take a photograph. Let's have a little photograph of chicken, and that's your red button. There you go. A snap of the chicken. So all good. As I say, hold, press and hold, and away you go. So that's good. My recommendations, yeah, I like it. I think it's an improvement on the Mobius 2. Improvements. People who are not going to use it in the case, I would have liked a lens cap. You had one with the Mobius 2. I'd probably like another connection on the back, or on the side should I say, so you can connect Lavalier or Lapel microphone. The microphone's okay, but it's not the best, and it does pick up the wind. But if you're able to plug in a lapel mic with a muffler on it, wind muffler on it, then you know, that would be good for audio. Obviously you wouldn't be able to use that if you got it in the case, but yeah, little things maybe in the next version. So there we have it. I should be playing a bit more with it in the future. Tomorrow I'll be on site doing some metal detecting, so hopefully we'll get some good footage, and fingers crossed some decent finds. So Boblov X6 action camera. What do I think? Well, you get a lot for your money. There's lots and lots of accessories to mount the camera on most things. It's not perfect, but for the money you're paying, it's not GoPro prices. So for me, it's a thumbs up. Well, on fields again with Boblov, still giving him a trial. I'm impressed from what I've found playing with him, in a manner of speaking. He's a good camera, seems well made. There's a lot of accessories included mounting wise, so if you're not going to use it as a hat cam like I am, there's a mount there for your motorcycle, your crash helmet, your push bike. You can even use it as a dash cam. There's some self-adhesive pads there, so you've got no excuse. You can mount Boblov anywhere. Battery wise, you do get 2 batteries, but as I found last time, I had it on standby all the while. So doing your swinging, found something, pressed your wrist controller, recorded the piece, and then throughout the time I was using Boblov, battery went flat. So I think if you're going to use it like I am for metal detecting, I think really what you ought to do is in the settings you can set Boblov to shut down in a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever. I suggest setting him to shut down for a minute. So do your swinging, find something you want to record, turn Boblov on. The good thing is once you turned him on, you'll hear an audible tone, so you know you're going to record. In the past with other cameras I've thought I had turned him on and I hadn't, because there's no tones, and done the video, got home, nothing. So learn from my mistakes. So yeah, do that. You've got a wrist controller, so you turn him on, wrist controller on, film your find, stop your video, get on with it. He'll turn off in a minute. So your battery saving, okay? So I can recommend Boblov. If you're looking for I wouldn't say cheap, but sort of middle of the road priced action camera, does 4K, Wi-Fi, so you can review or look at what you actually are pointing at on your camera, on your mobile phone, and you've got your wireless wrist control as well, so you can snap photos, you can do your videos on off. There's no messing about with, you know, I know you've got to turn it on, but you know, it's a lot easier with the wrist remote. So I can recommend Boblov. I've got a link below in the comments or the description, direct link to Amazon, so you can have a little read up of Boblov, see if he fits your needs, which I think if you're watching this he will, and just click and buy. You won't go wrong. For the money, I don't think you'll go wrong. So give Boblov a go. If you do buy one, get in touch, make a comment, see how you get on with it. If you need any help, I mean, I don't pretend to be an expert on Boblov, but obviously I've had it for a few days, week or two, and I'm learning Boblov. But up until now, I think he's great. So give Boblov a punt, and let me know how you get on.